Okay, I want to bring this up. We can close on this because I saw this today. It's fascinating. So, a university professor in finance looked up the value of Caitlin Clark for the WNBA. This is insane. So, this year, um, last season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was 26.5% of all economic activity as a rookie on the worst team in the league when she entered it. So now she has an 8-year, $128 million deal with Nike. So, she's going to eat. Um, Merchandise in the league went up off a rookie from a Midwest-based school on the worst team in the league, 234%. But here was the one that struck me. So before she got there, the Indiana Fever, the valuation of the franchise was 90 million. Remember, they play a short season. It's not like the NBA where it lasts like 6 months. After playing 40 games, the valuation of that team now is $340 million. She is almost
That's what NBA teams were selling for 10 years ago, Colin.
She has 15 years ago. The value. And I was talking, I was with a group of friends tonight at dinner, and people that didn't know the WNBA were like asking, well, why? Like, what does she do? And we said, well, she makes passes and takes shots that nobody else in the sport does. So she's a bit of it's like when Tiger Woods came on the tour, like he drove it further. He's long putting was better. He looked like a football player in the red shirts. Like he just was different than every other golfer you grew up with. And people like unique and different. Um, Here, my question to you is there's still no other, like somebody said at the party, well, there'll be another Caitlin Clark. And I'm like, well, there's not another Steph Curry. Like there's guys that can shoot threes. I don't I don't think it's a game you duplicate. And listen, let's just be honest. There are more great male athletes in the world than female athletes. There is no second Steph Curry. There is no other player that plays like that. My take is she could be $1 billion athlete. Like, are you surprised by it? Like when I see these numbers, I'm like, oh, this is Tiger in the tour. This isn't even Jordan. This is totally different.
Well, I think when you look at basketball, there are two real kind of like ultimate show type of athletes that you see, meaning like must-see television. And it's the supreme vertical athlete, which
Yeah.
think like young LeBron or kind of like Anthony Edwards now.
Dominique was for a while. Yeah.
Like the guy that does stuff in the air that is unlike anything you see anywhere else in the world.
Dr. J. Yeah.
Mhm. And then the second piece of it is just unbelievable shot making. Those are the two things. Those are the two things that like really bring eyes to television. To take it a step further, there are two types of basketball players that I think are far and away the most winning impact in the current game of basketball. It's the big, strong playmaker. Think LeBron, Luka, Jokic. And it's the indomitable shooter, which there's really only been Steph. I think those two types of players are the players that give you the best chances to win basketball games in the modern world. Now, what makes it fascinating to me, because that's what Caitlin Clark is. She's a different type of player and she can do a lot of different types of things, but she's essentially bringing a Steph Curry-like basketball impact to the WNBA. It's really this simple. If you can shoot the way that she shoots or the way Steph shoots, and you can perpetually be in motion, running around, inevitably, there is an overreaction to your shooting ability. And we see this all the time with Caitlin. Just like you're going to see Aaliyah Boston get nonstop easy buckets in the mid-range or rolling to the basket because every time she sets a screen for Caitlin, her defender is stepping up to guard Caitlin. Because as she comes off of that screen, if you're not there, she's going to shoot it and she's going to make it. And so there's a reaction that inverts spacing and brings a 4-on-3 because you bring multiple defenders away from the rim. There's a 4-on-3 with a vacated paint. And because of that, there's a lot of easy opportunities to score there. Like that's the thing with Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry is not the same shot maker that he was 4 years ago in 2021. But just the simple threat of him running around gives the Warriors a chance to score. And that's the thing. Like Caitlin hasn't even really started hitting shots yet this year the way that she's capable of, but everyone knows she can, and they guard her in that fashion. And so to me, it's kind of like a proof of concept in that if you can shoot and you can run around the way that Steph does, and you can strike fear into a defense in that way, the trickle down effects with the way that defenses guard you just make everything so much easier for her. And like you could argue she's already the best offensive engine in the WNBA, and she's literally a second year player. And she still has so much room to improve. Like she still struggles with ball pressure. She turned the ball over too much against the Liberty the other night. She still has a little bit of an issue where she kind of crossfires across her face, which makes it so she can only shoot going left. She needs to build it out so that she can shoot running to her right as well. But like judging by her psycho competitive attitude, she's probably going to figure that stuff out in the next year or two, and then she'll be the best player in the league. And so like to me, it's just she fits the mold of one of the most impactful types of basketball players you can be today, which is the deadly movement shooter. If you're a deadly movement shooter, it just opens up so many things for an offense. And honestly, I just think I think she's must-see television, Colin. I've watched all 4 of her games, and I'm in my busy season. Like you'd think I'd be taking a break. My wife said to me the other day, she's like, "You're watching more basketball?" I'm like, "It's Caitlin Clark. We're watching more basketball. Come over here. Let's watch this." Like she's incredible.
Sorry to interrupt this great video, but please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Now back to the video. And she doesn't always get the consistent great star whistle. I think they're still kind of figuring out how to officiate her, right? Like I've said this for years when I covered Shaq and went to Shaq got fouled more than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, it was insane. People bounced off Shaq. Jokic complains constantly, like people are bouncing off me. She doesn't quite get as favorable a whistle as you think. So I think
neither does Steph too. That's the funny part.
Well, and I think I will give the WNBA credit. They just didn't understand the tsunami of her popularity. Like they didn't get the schedule, and you don't know what you don't know. They've done a much better job. All her games are on television. Every time I turn on every time I see a promotion for the WNBA, it's Caitlin Clark. So but I do think there's a process on, you're an official. You don't want to give her too favorable a whistle because the players in the league all resent her to some degree. She's getting all this attention. And I will say this. I've defended the WNBA with this. Baseball and the WNBA feel ignored. The NFL and the NBA and college football, they get a lot of press. And baseball always feels like, hey, we're America's pastime. So they're very insular, sometimes very provincial. And the WNBA similarly, you don't pay attention to us. So there's part of it like I get. Like they sort of resent this one player. Nobody talks WNBA. They do, and it's all her. I remember when Tiger was 18, 19, 20 years old coming onto the tour, there were a lot of people in golf that were like, could you talk in your sportscast about anybody other than Tiger Woods? So she's not. Bryce Harper came into baseball. He fought with an own teammate in the dugout because it was like, oh, everybody wants to talk to. So I do defend the WNBA is that I get if nobody paid attention to you for 26 years and now they do, and they feign interest in the rest of the league. What we all care about is Caitlin. So the animosity built up by players, I give it a little bit of a pass. I think people are spending too much time on race. It is what it is. There's a million platforms, a million opinions. But I don't know. My take is they're still in the adjustment period with Caitlin. How to market, how to promote, how to officiate, how to defend. And it's just fluid. That's what it feels like to me.
I think that like when I see the complaining, like I saw some players complain and some members of the media complain that she was on TV so much. And let's just take fairness and just put it to the side for a minute. Like even with Nike and giving Caitlin a shoe, like set that aside for a minute and just focus on her being on television. Okay. Her being on television brought my eyes to it. I didn't watch the WNBA. I have grown to really enjoy watching WNBA basketball, even when she's not on. And They're like Nafisa Collier became one of my favorite basketball players watching her in the finals run last year. And what brought me to the television was Caitlin. So like let's say that the league came out and they're like, every Caitlin Clark game's on national television. Like, that's just what we're going to do. Deal with it. That would be genius because the best way you can market the other WNBA players is to have them play against Caitlin Clark because we'll all be watching. Okay, well, no one's covering the rest of the league. Okay, but if you put Caitlin on television and you get more people to watch, it will create more WNBA fans. And we live in the most Colin, I started making NBA content out of my guest bedroom. Okay. You create a bunch of WNBA fans, passionate members of the media will originate from that mass and will cover the league better. And overall, the league will gain in popularity and gain in impact. And it will become a momentous thing that carries forward and actually does shine a big flashlight on the rest of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is the vehicle with which to microwave that, to accelerate it, and to move it into a fast track towards what could be a bright future for the WNBA. It's great basketball. It's genuinely great basketball. She's the best vehicle with which to elevate the sport. I think anything they can do to put her on TV and promote her is the best thing they could do for the sport.
Yeah, it's Conor McGregor UFC. You know, you knew it existed. You'd seen fights. You started buying pay-per-view cards and sitting through 2.5 hours to get to his fight. And then all of a sudden you found yourself a year later hooked on 2 other fighters because Dana White would put the second most popular fighter in the undercards.
Exactly.
So all of a sudden it's John Jones into Conor McGregor. And then it's just basic marketing. And I've said before, I do think the WNBA, women's basketball, and I said this years ago on FS1, probably 5 years ago, the sport was getting better. The women were, several generations of women were encouraged to play basketball and to be athletes, and nutritionists came into the sport and better trainers. There was money in the league, so they had better training, and the players were getting better. But it takes this. Listen, it took Magic and Bird in the NBA to take a league. There were some financial problems. So it's not like a gender issue. I think Conor McGregor's erosion as a fighter has hurt UFC. It doesn't feel as urgent, and that's already established. And we all know that Michael Jordan left once Magic, Bird, and Michael had driven the league up. Michael left, the ratings dropped 50%. So this stuff outside of the NFL, it's all cyclical. It's all market-based. It's all star-based. And it's just the WNBA, was waiting for its first tiger. And golf's probably had 4 in my life. Jack Nicholson, Arnold Palmer, Tiger. I think Rory's got a little bit of it, Phil Mickelson. So the history of golf, modern history's got like 5 guys that have done it. So there's no reason to be defensive about it. It's all these leagues, they all eventually, look at boxing. Ali took it from whatever it was to the next level. Then there were Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler. But when Larry Holmes arrived, nobody wanted to watch Larry Holmes. It took an old George Foreman selling a grill that you bake chicken on or cook chicken on literally to get the casual back into boxing was George Foreman's second tour. So this is the way sports works outside of football.
The cyclical thing is so fascinating because that's literally what the NBA is about to go through. LeBron and Steph won 8 titles in 11 years, and now there's not really a big name yet. Now you could argue that the parity might prevent the rise of a star, and that's a separate conversation for another day, but it is really fascinating. We're in one of those cycles right now with the NBA. The old guard's going out. There's a new guard coming up. But Colin, I sincerely appreciate you giving us your time tonight. This has been a super fun playoff run. I'm sure we'll be talking in about a week or so. Again, everyone, thank you guys so much for supporting the show. No playback tonight, just a heads up. We'll be back with that tomorrow night, and then I'll be live on YouTube after the final buzzer of Game 4 of what should be an incredible Western Conference Finals game tomorrow night. I will see you guys then.